Hi there, this is Solitary from Solitary Films, and welcome to another random review. Today's random review is another modern film, a film from 2021 that I've actually watched, which is quite unbelievable. It's Titane by Julia Ducournau. That's probably not how you pronounce her name. This actually won the Palme d'Or, which immediately sends up a red flag to me, because usually films that win major awards, there's usually politics behind that and other things, so it's very rarely the fact because it's an excellent film. This is the follow-up to Raw, which lots of people love. I am in the camp that I like it, but it has some problems that appear a little bit in Titane, but for me this is a much better film than Raw, for some of the reasons I'll get into. Obviously because I'm always late to the party as far as modern films are concerned. Nazar Prod's done a video on Titane. Chris Mohan's done a video, Dion Wynn's done a video, because he probably saw it at Cannes. So I'll put links to their videos because they do far better jobs talking about the film than I am going to do. I've already decided. So this is a film about a dancer who the film opens when she's a little girl and she's being quite annoying in the back of a car. There's a car accident and she ends up getting probably a titanium plate in her head. And then we fast forward, she's in her early 30s and she's a dancer. We're introduced to her at a car show, and again there's an affinity established between her and automobiles, in the scene where she gets out of hospital. She goes to I assume it might be the same car, and gives it a nice hug and a kiss, despite the fact that it obviously injured her. And she is, how to describe it, perhaps a difficult person to get to know, a difficult person to figure out what's going through her mind at times. She has a liaison with a girl who I believe is the lead actress from Raw. And again, it suggested she's never been with a woman before, so she's fascinated with a nipple piercing that this woman has. And again, the relationship between woman and metal, or woman and machine, is established early on and throughout. The film itself is pretty much a story about the dangers of unprotected sex, regardless of who or what you're having your unprotected sex with. And she needs to escape from acts that she has done. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. And through a rather ridiculous plot point that you just have to go with, she gets involved with an aging fireman and lives at the fire station with all the younger firefighters, and he himself has a relationship with chemicals to try and stave off the aging process. And it's how she originally is just using him as another stepping stone to escape her past, but things transpire and she ends up staying due to the condition that she's in and the condition that he's in, until it inevitably reaches a climax. So like I say, for me this is a much better film than Raw, but again my opinion is not fact. But again, it still has some of the character problems in Raw, because I just felt in Raw none of the characters were engaging or likeable enough. Again, you don't have to be a likeable character, but you at least want to be engaging so you actually care what happens to them, even if you don't necessarily care about the character. And for me that was lacking in Raw. And for me there's an element of that with the main character, because of the things she does that she has to escape from. They're not trivial things, so if you're trying to be on her side throughout her journey, she is not particularly a nice person. And again, you don't have to be a nice person to be a good film character, but she is compelling enough in Titane so you actually want to see and follow her journey, whereas again for me the characters in Raw weren't engaging enough to actually care about their journey, whereas in Titane that isn't as much a problem. But there's a slight problem with the main character as far as why she did those things, because they did seem a bit unnecessary. The main scene where that happens, there is actually some humour to it, and there is some wonderful dancing on top of a fire engine, and one of the best scenes in the film. So again, I think it's an excellent film, but it's far from perfect. I know, well, certainly on this Region A disc, it's obviously a heart and head thumping masterpiece. Not for me, but then not many modern films are masterpieces, I don't think. But it's good to see the progression from a filmmaker from Raw to this, so I will be very interested to see what comes next. I mean, it is obviously lazy and redundant to call it, Cronenbergian, but I'm going to call it Cronenbergian because it's fairly obviously influenced by David Cronenberg, but it's got a nice female spin to it, and through the female gaze, because obviously the first few scenes at the car show with scantily clad women soaping themselves up and rubbing them against cars, it would have been interesting, the reaction, if it was directed by a man compared to directed by a woman. Again, it does have some gallows humour in it, and it does end the right way. And again, even if you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit at the plot mechanisms, overall it's a film that is engaging and does actually fly by. It looks really good, sounds really good, and it is, like I say, for me it's a step up from Raw, so it will be interesting to see the next step up for Julia Ducournau. Again, apologies again for pronunciation. So again, that's just a very short, late to the party review of Titane, a film about the dangers of unprotected sex and how we try and, well, some of us try and change our bodies. It's also about identity. Certainly 21st century, everybody's obsessed about sexual identity and what we're putting into our bodies in chemical form, one way or another. And again, I'll leave links to a few other YouTubers that I know, their videos on Titane, because like I say, I'm always late to the party when it comes to modern films. So thanks so much for watching this random review, and hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews. Please leave comments below what you think of Titane, which one you prefer out of Titane and Raw. Like I say, hopefully you'll join me in the future, where everything will be metal and shiny. So this is Solitude Ronin from Solitude Ronin Films, saying farewell.